I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good because I get to talk to you, and it's about this amazing show that as soon as I was watching it, I was kind of like, oh my god, this is unlike any Star Wars show we've seen or maybe even movie. When I was watching it, I was sort of like, is this sort of like Blade Runner? And I mean that as a compliment because it is so different. So I want to ask you first, you get your script, you get your sides. Does it feel completely different from anything you've read or watched in Star Wars from the script?
100%.
Definitely read it through the writing. So when
Wow.
when the scripts first came to me and I was talking to Tony Gilroy, I had the same exact feeling. I was like, wow, this is not really what I expected in the best possible way.
I think Tony is a brilliant writer, and I think just tonally, when you read the script, you realize just how grounded it is and how complex each and every character is, and how interested every single storyline is and how they intertwine, and it's complicated, and they really are going, characters are really going through something
Yeah.
and bigger than themselves, and I think Tony did something beautiful where no one in this show sort of lives in black or white. Everyone's sort of in the gray area. There's no such thing as good or bad, and you get to really explore why in the intimacy of the characters' homes.
Because it's grittier, it's more human, it's very domestic. It's a socio-political drama while also being a Star Wars epic 12-episode thing, but it really surprised me, and it built off the promise of what Rogue One was, which is exactly that. It had a very different aesthetic. It was darker and grittier. It had some 70s kind of like thriller vibes in it as well. And I just thought like what this writing is, plus Tony Gilroy, plus Diego Luna and Star Wars, like, wow.
The sets in the show are so good. I heard that you guys actually filmed on set as opposed to like the volume with the digital background.
Yeah.
What is it like walking through that town? Because I heard Kyle said it was like a 360 set where you could go anywhere and there would be some.
It was like 7 city blocks, and I don't think I'm exaggerating. I think it might be more.
It's pretty amazing, man. I mean, the scope and the level of detail that they created on this is so much greater than what they achieved on Rogue One. But they used the same cinematic scope and level of detail, and that was really amazing. And we were filming during the pandemic, and so we were supposed to be traveling around a lot. But I think one of the things Tony wanted to achieve was going back to how these stories were originally told, which is they built a lot of the sets. And actually the pandemic allowed that to happen in a very easy way. It's like, well, we can't go to Iceland, so let's build a town here. Yeah. And one of the main sets of Ferrix is a town that they built, which you could run in, I think they call it like a 360-degree set or something. You could run anywhere.
It was truly a gift. Like my cell yard, I had my office, I had that area where it all existed, and then you would walk, into the actual yard, and then my apartment was right there as well. So it was really fun, even in between takes, for me to like walk around the entire city and be like, oh, this is where she has coffees on Fridays, or this is this is where she goes to have lunch or dinner, and sort of create her everyday life. It was truly immersive. Once you were in there, you were in Ferrix. Like Ferrix actually existed. It was a true city that was affected by weather as well. If it rained in London, it rained in Ferrix. It wasn't covered. It was not a studio. It was indoors. It was completely outdoors. It was unlike any set I've ever been on. It had a particular smell. It was Ferrix. We lived in actual Ferrix.
I gotta ask you, because you play, I guess, the quintessential British bad guy for this show, at least for the first few episodes. What is it like sort of jumping into that when these characters were defined previously by Peter Cushing and for the sequels, Donald Gleason? So what is it like sort of entering and being the archetype for this, British bad guy for the show?
I think the really cool thing about Cyril and Tony creating this archetype of a antagonist for Cassian is that he's really Cassian's foil. And so however much Cassian is actually, Cassian does some pretty messed up things, right? And he's a questionable hero. And for all of Cassian's doubts and gray area, Cyril has that as well. And that's one of the things that really attracted to me, was that you were getting a look at the Empire that we haven't seen before, and also a look at a villain that was really three-dimensional, really human, and really has his own doubts and has his own worries, and kind of he's in a process of trying to figure out who he is. And he's doing that unfortunately he's doing that within the structures of the fascist kind of empire structure. But his process of becoming who he thinks he wants to be, he's not fixed yet. None of these characters are fully formed. And as an actor, that's something that is a gift.